4 people dead, 3 others in critical condition, while 7 people are injured in a car crash on the Kasoa Winneba road. Eyewitnesses say one of the vehicles had a brake failure and skidded off the road, resulting in a head-on collision with an oncoming vehicle. But this brings back the discussion on careless driving and road crashes during the festive season. While we're still finding ourselves here as a country, we'll be getting all the answers on today's big story. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. So we're told that the number is actually 5 that has been confirmed dead. Now, the debris of the car tail lights and some car parts are things that our reporter found at the accident scene, plus a spillover of fuel from both cars. We'll be getting some updates shortly from our man, Maxwell Agbagba, who is at the Winneba Government Hospital now. But joining me in the studio now is Nana Amihere, who is a safety campaigner and analyst. Merry Christmas to you, Nana.
Same to you, Aisha.
Welcome to today's
wonderful,
Thank you very much, and you too, Nana. This is bad news on such a special day. You agree with me?
Yes, we thought we had put all those crashes, incidents of death and fatalities behind us. But really, the last 3 days, that is remaining before we see the back of 2016 and all of its carnage and whatever.
Right.
Well, just we hear. I was this morning in your sister station talking about road safety, and we thought, hooray! We're going to see the back of 2016 without any further fatalities. And look at what has happened just this afternoon: 5 confirmed dead, and as many as 20 injured. I mean, that's terrible.
That's terrible.
That's terrible.
Well, Maxwell Agbagba, who is currently at the Winneba Government Hospital, has been speaking with officials at the hospital. Let's listen to what they've been saying.
One came to theater and we have to do switching for him. And he said on the way coming, when just about getting to Winneba, the tire removed from the car. So the driver couldn't control the steer. So that is why the car somersaulting. So those behind the driver had minimal injury, but those behind the car, like at the back seat, got injured, and 5 have died so far.
Now, you told me about a gentleman who was brought here to this hospital, 19-year-old boy. You were trying to resuscitate him?
Yes.
Yes, but that couldn't happen. Tell me exactly how.
He was rushed. He was one of the victims. Actually, when he came, no relatives were around, so he was rushed into theater. So we are just trying to stabilize his condition. We realized that there are a lot of blood accumulated in his chest. Then after preparing him to go into and drain the blood, we realized that he gave up. You know, he was only moving with only calculator and school items, and no other material could be found for identification.
So 5 people have died so far?
Yes, 5 people have died so far.
Do you know the number of people who are injured?
It should be around 9, 10 that way.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Joining me on the phone is Maxwell Agbagba to tell us more. Maxwell, good evening to you. What more can you tell us about this incident? Well, I think we lost Maxwell. We'll still continue with Nana Amir, who is in the studio with me, and try and get Maxwell back on the line. Nana, one would have thought that after all the safety campaigns, safety awareness, would have moved away from some of these road crashes. What didn't we do right?
Well, what we didn't do right, the whole host of many things that we didn't do right. But I must commend the National Road Safety Commission that with the very scanty resources that they had, they've been able to really bring the toll of crashes and fatalities on our roads to the barest minimum. Last year, the statistics as you have it, it was brought from almost 2,000 to 1,440. With all the support the advocates and other safety campaigners contributed to bringing those figures down. We would have thought that we would have carried on to 2016 and seen the reduction going down further in 2016. Now, what do you hear? Now, as at end of November, the statistics have gone up from 1,700, that was by September, to 1,990. So the 2,000 mark, we are almost there, that we're going to cross the 2,000 mark, 2,000 mark in the next couple of days.
Right.
Now we have got 5 dead, so we are now 1,995.
We've gotten some steps back.
Yes. So really, I think, you see, we really need to look at putting our money where our mouth is,
right,
as a country.
Exactly.
Aisha, I can't see the reasoning behind it, that we spend so much money in developing human resources.
Right.
And these same human resources, we are depleting them on the roads through needless crashes.
Right.
Some of these crashes, in the past, used to be the Benz 207. Now, I think now, Benz 207 is now...
Is a Sprinter or something?
It's been replaced with a Sprinter.
Yes.
You know what was wrong with the Benz 207?
No.
You know, as a country, we have a law which is enshrined in the legislative instrument 2180,
right,
that we can import vans
into this country, right,
and convert them to be buses.
To be public transport.
No, but see, what is the sense in it? If we can't, as a people, can afford to bring in the buses, that research and development have gone into it and have approved and built the bus for such purposes,
right,
then we can go and buy second-hand.
Right.
But why do you go and buy vans
without
which are the spec is totally different, because human beings
are different from goods.
Oh. And let me give you something. Some of these people who are dead in this crash, probably the crash itself would not have killed them.
Exactly.
But the makeshift benches and seats that they put in this Sprinter buses,
when they bring them here,
when there's a crash, there's something we call secondary crash.
Right.
Because when the vehicle going about, let's say, 100 kilometers an hour, all the passengers are also traveling the same speed. So when there's a crash, whatever that is in front of you, the research and development of these companies like Mercedes-Benz,
right,
who will make this same Sprinter but a bus, as opposed to the light goods, because these vans are supposed to carry light goods
and not human
beings.
Right.
So when there's a crash, and you, unfortunately, you're sitting at the back, there's a seat in front of you, so you crash into that seat.
On that seat.
And when you crash into that seat, because those metals that are used are rigid,
right,
and they haven't got the ability to absorb the impact, then that is what is going to kill you.
Right.
But if you had really had the actual buses, that the metals in the buses or they have designed that they can cushion the impact.
They were actually made for human beings, and so they put all of those things into consideration.
But in our infinite wisdom, I don't know where that is coming from.
And whose fault is it? Who should we blame for this?
The politicians.
Right.
People don't want, but see, me, I don't care who ox is God.
But most of these Sprinter buses are for private individuals.
No, what I'm saying, the government should put the legislative instrument flows out of the act that governs the transport industry.
So the laws are not being enforced.
You see, I remember having this argument with the DVLA and the National Road Safety Commission, because we work closely with them. Right. And the the experts there were saying that at the time that they were promulgating the law, the LI 2112, the politicians were saying that, no, Ghanaians, we want to bring in these vans who are meant for light goods.
And turn them into human being carriers.
We send them to magazine and other Kokompe, and for them to retrofit them to carry human beings.
Right.
But what they fail to understand is that the chassis and the frame of that van is not the same as carrying human beings with the weight. You know, you think human beings, we are very heavy.
Very heavy,
As I stand here, I'm a good 84 kilograms. But you may not see that.
Exactly.
So when we put 20 of my weight in a vehicle, it changes the dynamics of the vehicle.
Exactly.
So all these accidents, crashes that are happening is because we have, as a people, have then put it in law that you can bring a van which is supposedly supposed to carry light goods to carry human beings.
Right.
And these are some of the causes
Now, one interesting thing that baffles me is the fact that we always almost having these type of crashes every election year after elections, and then during the festive season, as people are now coming to, you know, respond to these things as normal, that, oh, after elections, that's what happens. During Christmas, that's what happens. So now people are accepting it. Should we accept this as a norm?
That mindset, so really, it abhors me. I can't see where that is coming from. That as human beings, we are happy to see our fellow human beings die in a way that is unbefitting of, even the way we carry the people who are involved in crashes. I saw a crash and how the people are being thrown about like a load of potatoes. I mean, we need to look at certain things critically and put certain measures.
So what is accounting for this kind of things during festive season, after every elections, we're encountering a lot of crashes on our roads? What's accounting for this?
It's activities. You know, when the politicians are going around the country, zipping around the country and taking out their supporters, can you imagine that the law does not even permit people to be carried in buckets of pickups? Yet, don't you, Aisha, don't you see the political parties carrying their supporters in buckets and driving in a manner
recklessly?
That I see these politicians who are coming to govern us, they don't care about rule of law.
Right.
The law that was promulgated in 2012, everything is there. But when it comes to electioneering, then the law is pushed aside. And then, so now we are the people who are coming to seek your mandate or your sovereignty to govern you. But we don't, when we are doing that, we don't care about the law. But I do care about the law. And the law that we are not subservient to the law. The politicians, if you're a politician, there's one set of law for you. And if you are the ordinary citizen, there's one set of law. That is something that we need to throw that into the dustbin and really look at policies
the reality
and ensure that we are governed by rule of law.
Now I'll have you hold because we have Maxwell Agbaba on the phone. Good evening to you, Maxwell. What more can you tell us about this incident or accident from where you are?
Well, Aisha, I'm currently at a Winneba Hospital where all the victims who were injured in that accident that happened on that traffic, which was specifically at a place very close to the Winneba roundabout, are being pressed right now. So the victims are here in the middle and people go. Now, if you go inside, there are 12 of them who are injured, a lot of them who are also been bandaged, some of them responding to the right now. But the unfortunate incident and the official death record that we're getting from the casualty unit of this hospital is that 5 people lost their lives in that gory accident that happened today. Now, outside the funeral ward of the hospital, so we have some worried relatives who are gathered here, looking very sorrowful. For some of them who had their fears allayed because when they went in there, they saw their relatives with minor injuries. And they are at this time now that for those who lost their family members in that process, it's not easy for them. Now, there's a woman who has been stolen in the corridor of the hospital because he's looking at them. He says that he's been trying his phone line for about 2 hours. He's not been able to get in touch with the house. And as it stands right now, she's very worried. Now, earlier, we were at the accident scene itself. Now, it's a place very close to the Winneba Junction. Ironically or interestingly, the accident scene is about 100 meters away from a place where a signage indicated that 32 people died on that spot, some few years ago. So 100 meters away from where this accident happened, there's a sign warning motorists that 32 people died on that spot, some few years back. Now at the accident scene itself,
careful when they get there.
Yeah, the vehicle that was involved in the accident has been towed away, that there are still debris of the car tail light and the car park, scattered on the scene. There's also a black patch of the oil that spilled, the brake fluid and the fuel that spilled from the vehicle also at the scene as it stands currently. So that's what
Maxwell, did you get the opportunity to speak with the family members or relatives of the victims of the accident?
Yes, a lot of them are worried at times right now. For those who have lost their family members, it's uncontrollable stories of them at times right now. But for those who are their relatives still minor, yeah, a bit, okay and fine. I've been speaking to one of the gentlemen who happened to be in minor injury, and he told me that he was traveling from Obuasi to Accra. Now, in the middle of the journey, the rear tire, the back tire of the sprinter that he was sitting in dashed. And what happened was that the driver lost control of the vehicle, and then a somersault had flight. So after somersaulting, the vehicle actually landed on his leg. We saw some people who died on the spot, and then the gentleman who was with him in the ward, he told me that he died some few minutes ago. One of the theater nurses at this hospital have been telling me also that there's another gentleman, a 19-year-old boy, who died when they tried taking him to the theater to reach hospital. There's another woman who has had her calf actually removed. So it's a selfless thing here. It's good that yeah.
Well, many thanks to Maxwell Agbagba for the update. We'll be coming to you in our subsequent bulletin for more on this accident. That's a pretty sad one. And let me say that our condolences to those who've lost their family members, I mean, on this special day, Nana. But has institutions like the Road Safety Commission, MTTU, and other stakeholders whose mandate is to ensure some of these things do not happen, have they failed us, Nana?
Well, the answer is yes and no. Because, you see, I work very closely with National Road Safety Commission. And National Road Safety Commission, I'll go on to MTTU, but National Road Safety Commission is become just an institution that is there it's just a courtesy institution, if I should use that word.
Why do you say that?
Because, you see, they have been pushing for the last 2 years to become an authority. You see, the reason why I use a courtesy, because it's just there, an institution, it has no teeth to bite, as you have even said, it's a toothless bulldog.
Okay.
But if you give an institution, it doesn't have powers to punish or to do something that it can bear its teeth to make an impact, then it's become a courtesy institution.
Okay.
Because if you look at National Road, it's supposed to coordinate between all the state agencies, the MTTU and whatever.
And also create awareness.
Yes, awareness. Create awareness of what? What do you create awareness with? With money. With money and resources. If the road safety comes to multimedia, and so we are creating awareness, we are a nice institution, so you give us 30 minutes of your time. Will you give it to them free? Right. So dissemination of this information and awareness comes with money. And you give a whole National Road Safety Commission 3 million Ghana cedis a year. For the year. What can they do with 3 million Ghana cedis in a year? Okay? Now, so that until they get this, they pushed it in Parliament until they get the authority where they can have some teeth to bite. Then they will remain a courtesy commission, if I should use that word advisedly. Right. Now let's go to the MTTU. Exactly. MTTU. In fact, they are supposed to be checking some of these vehicles to enforce the laws. Exactly. But on the roads. In this country, Aisha, my dear, who wants to be punished? In Ghana here, the MTTU only just pay eye service to the politicians. Right. Because the politicians who put them there. They pick a phone call. Oh, this is the nephew of the president. Okay. Everybody goes helter-skelter, and whatever offense that he has committed is wiped out. Right. So next time, what will happen? I mean, now the same MTTU, you don't give them resources. So if they don't have resources, and these days we have technology, which is informing so many other institutions and upgrading their capacity. So if we then go out there every year. But the police has been resourced, if I'm not mistaken, this year they've had a lot of resources. Aisha, they used to complain of vehicles, they've been giving vehicles. Aisha, don't even go there. We're told that they will install some cameras so that it will take pictures of offenders. I mean, a lot of things were introduced. We're told about the one that they will use to gauge people who drink and drive. Have they received them? Have you gone as a reporter? Have you gone to see those? You see, well, I believe that we should critically look at the MTTU. You know, elsewhere in the U.S., the states, you see, they generate a lot of revenue out of these people who do not want to obey the law. Now, if I was advising government, okay, these crashes in a year cost us 1.6% of GDP in a year. And now, assuming our GDP is 200 billion cedis. Now, 1.6% of that, I'm not a good at maths, but if you work it out, 1.6 is getting you closer to 3.4 billion cedis. And now, if a government that really wants to come and put things right, says that over the last 4 or 5 years, we've been losing 1.6 of GDP to road crashes. So let's find a solution to it. So where comes the solution? This police, MTTU, National Road Safety Authority, let's resource them with 2 billion of that 3.4 billion a year, and let's see what happens. You put that money in the MTTU and National Road Safety Authority and charge the officers, look, and the board of directors, and what, this is what I want you to do. And I want to see how you reduce the carnage on our road.
But even with the little we have, are you happy that a lot of policemen will stand by the roadside, watch people misbehave, and take one cedis and allow them to go?
You see, Asha, you don't have time. This is a whole program on its own if you want to talk about some of these things.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's not a fault.
But it's very worrying.
So it's extremely worrying. And but you see, another thing is that what good is it that we're talking about this police visibility? For me, it was not worth the paper that the name is written on. Police visibility, where you see the vehicles flashing red and blue.
Right.
And when somebody is committing an offense, they do not even have petrol
to move the vehicle
to go and apprehend the person who is violating the law. So what's good is that police visibility. So we really need, for the incoming government that is coming in, you really need to look into all these things. And some of us who can assist by giving policy directions should be consulted, as opposed to, oh yes, the job for the boys, because you shouted choboy
during the campaign,
so you're going to put a round peg in a square hole. Well, this country is not going to move anywhere, and we are not going to be able to solve the crashes that we are seeing on our roads forever and ever if the attitude of just putting round pegs in square holes is not abated. Okay,
so quickly, what will be on your list if we needed a reform, I mean a quick one, or in the interim, not a long-term measure, but even a short-term measure to address some of these issues? What is on your list?
I think it's captured in what I've been saying the last 20 minutes. Just look at how much money, physical money, we are losing on the roads and the human resources that we are depleting on the roads. Asha, you cannot put a price on you. Okay? No. So if we want to really stop these things, if you put money at it, resource the MTTU, make National Road Safety Commission as an authority with the teeth to bite, then you will be getting some results. Believe you me. I mean, if that is done, 2 billion Ghana cedis into these institutions, within a year, the road statistics, the crashes, and the fatalities will be halved in the first year. Trust me. And the following year, we will go down 75% reduction. And that is the way we must go. Now my time is up, but a quick advice to the public as to how to go about our business as we celebrate this festive season. When in terms of safety, you are personally liable to your own safety before somebody else comes in. So you, the La Paz, N1 road, right? They have put unfortunately, we didn't have money to put overpass but even if you have to walk 50 meters or 150 meters to go and use the footpath, and you don't, and you want to go and cross a 3-lane dualized road, and then with all these high-speed vehicles moving about, then you must be, excuse me to say, an idiot who will do that. So you owe it to yourself, your personal safety to yourself before somebody else comes in. Many thanks to you, Nana. It's a pleasure, Aisha. Amir, for passing by. We've been talking about road crashes, and we're sad to announce that 5 people are dead and many others are in critical condition at the Winneba Government Hospital in an accident that happened on the Kasoa Winneba Road. This is today's big story. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Good evening.